What if everything we believed about blood of my blood was only the surface of something much deeper, something that could shatter the entire Outlander timeline? The whispers from the stones, the name Claire echoing through centuries, and that haunting look on Julia's face at the end of Season 1, they weren't just clues. They were warnings. Because Season 2 isn't just continuing the story, it's rewriting it. The ending of Blood of My Blood Season 1 didn't just leave us with heartbreak, it left us with a puzzle. Julia and Henry standing before the ancient stones, the world collapsing around them, and a single word slipping from Henry's trembling lips, Claire. Fans have debated for months what it truly meant. Was it a call for help? A memory? Or something much bigger, something connecting him to the very origin of time travel itself? Outlander has always taught us that nothing happens by accident, and Blood of My Blood has taken that idea to a whole new level. Every gesture, every silence, even the sound of wind rushing through the stones, it all carries meaning. That faint echo we heard before the screen faded to black? It wasn't just the usual hum of the stones. If you listen carefully, there's something different this time, a low, rhythmic pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Could it be the sound of time itself reacting to something, or someone, it hasn't felt before? That's where the biggest theory begins. Julia and Henry didn't simply travel. They broke something. The absence of gemstones in that final scene wasn't a mistake, it was deliberate. Because maybe this time, the stones didn't need a gemstone. Maybe they responded to blood. The series has been building toward this for a while, hinting that certain bloodlines are tied directly to the stone's power. Claire, Brianna, Roger, they've all been able to pass through time because of something unique within them. But Julia and Henry might be something else entirely, born of the blood that created time travel itself. If this is true, then the Season 2 trailer could completely redefine everything we know about how time travel works in the Outlander universe. The stones aren't magical objects, they're living conduits. And blood, real human connection, is what activates them. That would explain why Julia and Henry seemed drawn to the stones without even meaning to, why their emotions triggered that powerful reaction. It wasn't coincidence. It was the bloodline calling them home. But the most chilling part? Julia's final expression. It wasn't fear, it was recognition. She wasn't seeing the stones for the first time, she was remembering them. As if she had stood there before, in another lifetime, and faced the same impossible choice. Outlander has always played with destiny and loops in time, but Blood of My Blood might finally reveal the truth, that history doesn't just repeat, it remembers. And that brings us to Uncle Lamb. His quiet warning to young Claire in Season 1, some doors are not meant to be opened twice, feels heavier now than ever. What if Uncle Lamb wasn't just a historian? What if he was part of something bigger, a secret order that protects the timeline itself? Fans have speculated for years that he knew more about the stones than he let on. His calm reaction to Claire's strange instincts, his protective nature, his cryptic knowledge of fate, all of it points to a man who's seen the consequences of time manipulation before. Season 2 could finally unmask this hidden chapter of his past. What if Uncle Lamb was connected to Julia and Henry? What if he had met travelers before, people who vanished between centuries and reappeared changed? That would mean Claire's story wasn't destiny. It was design. A carefully orchestrated chain of events guided by generations of watchers ensuring the bloodline survived. And maybe Julia and Henry's disappearance wasn't an accident at all, it was the moment that chain was forged. The trailer could tease the return of those echoes. The wind, the whispers, the flicker of light between stones, all hinting that time itself is preparing for a reckoning. Because this isn't just about travel anymore. It's about the bloodline awakening. And when that happens, the universe of Outlander might never be the same again. Every mystery in Blood of My Blood Season 1 pointed toward a single truth: time doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in circles. And at the center of that circle is blood. The kind of blood that carries memory, love, and fate through generations. Season 2 isn't just about who travels, it's about why they were chosen. Let's start with the most haunting theory of all. Julia and Henry didn't just step through time, they stepped into the middle of it. Fans have been debating the meaning of that final moment for months, but what if they never actually made it to another century? What if they became trapped between timelines, in a liminal space where past and future blur? The sound we heard before the screen faded, the child's laughter echoing through the stones, might have been more than a ghostly echo. It could have been the sound of time looping in on itself, replaying fragments of the past as it struggles to heal the break they caused. Imagine being caught in that place, where every memory exists at once, where you can see the future and the past but can't touch either. If Julia and Henry are there, it means they're no longer bound by human time. They've become part of the mechanism itself, part of the reason time travel even works. And that's where the danger begins. Because in Outlander's world, nothing comes without cost. When one timeline bends, another breaks. Now think about Claire. Her life has always felt strangely guided, as if someone, or something, was leading her toward her destiny. What if that presence she's always sensed, that faint whisper by the stones, wasn't her imagination at all? What if it was Julia? The show could finally reveal that Julia's sacrifice created an echo strong enough to guide her descendants centuries later. It's the same kind of echo that makes the stones hum, the same pulse that makes certain people feel called to them. Blood remembers, even when time forgets. This theory connects to something much larger, the Traveler's Mark. Fans who've rewatched the finale noticed a faint shimmer on Julia's wrist when she touched the stones, barely visible, but unmistakable. It's a mark that's been hinted at in subtle ways across the Outlander universe but never fully explained. Some believe it's a birthright, passed through a single family line that began with Fraser's unborn child. That would mean Julia isn't just a descendant of the Frasers, she's a direct heir to the original Time Walkers. The ones who discovered the secret of the stones. And if Julia carries the Traveler's Mark, Henry might be something even more extraordinary. He could be what Uncle Lamb once described as a conduit, a person who can channel energy between timelines, allowing others to travel without the pain or gemstone. That would explain why Julia reached for him at the stones. She wasn't just holding on to someone she loved, she was grounding herself in the only person who could stabilize her passage. Their bond wasn't romantic chance. It was ancient design. But destiny is a double-edged sword. If Henry is the conduit, then his existence alone threatens to unravel the flow of time. The stones might have responded to him not out of acceptance, but out of fear. And that could mean the entire fabric of history is now unstable. Season 2 might open with the consequences of that break, echoes of people who never existed, memories merging between centuries, and history rewriting itself in real time. Imagine Claire suddenly remembering moments she never lived, faces she's never seen, because Julia's memories are bleeding into hers. Meanwhile, back in the 18th century, chaos is brewing. Fraser's pregnancy, once a symbol of hope, could become the story's greatest threat. What if the child she's carrying doesn't just carry the Fraser name, but the Traveler's Mark itself? The rebellion around them might not only be political, it could be spiritual. Forces within the clans, perhaps even the Mackenzies themselves, could be aware of the prophecy that a child born of love and blood will have the power to bend time. Jocasta's quiet choice to protect Ellen in the finale might be the moment that ensures the entire Outlander universe survives, or falls apart. And let's not forget Uncle Lamb. His gentle, scholarly nature hid something enormous. He once told young Claire, "The past never stays buried." What if he meant that literally? His knowledge of history, his obsession with ancient rituals, and his protective instinct make more sense if he wasn't just a historian, but a keeper of secrets. Some fans believe he was part of an ancient circle known as the Wardens of Time, a group dedicated to guarding the Traveler's bloodline. If that's true, then Season 2 could finally reveal how far the secret society's influence goes, and how many of their members have already died protecting it. The trailer could hint that the Wardens have resurfaced, sensing the disturbance Julia and Henry caused. They might be hunting for answers, or worse, trying to fix the timeline by erasing those who broke it. That means Julia and Henry's greatest threat won't come from the stones, but from people who understand exactly what they are. But even with all this mystery, Blood of My Blood has never lost sight of what makes it so powerful: emotion. Season 2 isn't just about timelines collapsing, it's about the choices that define who we are. Julia's love for Henry, Ellen's faith in Brian, Claire's connection to the unknown, all of it leads back to one truth: love doesn't follow rules. It breaks them. And when love breaks the rules of time, the universe listens. Every secret, every sacrifice, and every whisper from the stones has been leading to this moment, the reckoning. Season 2 of Blood of My Blood isn't just about continuing the Fraser legacy, it's about exposing the truth behind it. The past, present, and future are beginning to collapse into each other, and the line separating them is fading. What happens when time itself remembers too much? When every life connected by blood begins to overlap, and history starts to rewrite itself in real time? The trailer hints that this is exactly where the story is heading. The flicker of light across the stones, the heartbeat like hum growing louder, and the faint echo of Julia's voice whispering a name through centuries, all of it signals one thing: the bloodline is awakening. Julia and Henry's disappearance didn't end their story. It multiplied it. Because if the theories are true, they didn't die or move through time, they became part of it. Their essence, their memories, their love, it's now woven into the timeline itself. And that changes everything. Claire's world is the first to show the cracks. In Season 2, we might see her experience déjà vu so strong it feels like haunting, memories of places she's never been, flashes of faces she's never met, and emotions that don't belong to her. That connection could be Julia's echo bleeding through, her soul reaching across time to protect the family she never got to meet. For years, Claire has said she feels a presence whenever she's near the stones. Maybe now we'll learn the truth, that it was Julia all along, her sacrifice leaving behind a guardian spirit echoing through time. But not all echoes are kind. Time, after all, doesn't forgive easily. The more the bloodline interferes, the more unstable the timeline becomes. History starts to glitch, events shifting, people vanishing, the past rewriting itself with every heartbeat. And that's when the real danger appears: the Wardens of Time. Season 2 could finally introduce them as the hidden force that's been shaping the Outlander universe from the shadows. A secret order sworn to preserve the balance, even if it means destroying the very people who carry the traveler's blood. Uncle Lamb's cryptic knowledge begins to make sense here. He wasn't just Claire's guardian, he was her protector from the Wardens. In the trailer, his old notes might surface again, revealing maps, symbols, and prophecies that point to the origin of time travel. One entry stands out: the stones are alive, but only those with the mark can hear them breathe. That single line could explain everything: the humming sound, the voices, and the way emotions trigger the stone's power. Because time doesn't answer to science or magic, it answers to memory, and memory is where Julia still lives. Her story isn't finished. The trailer could tease glimpses of her caught between centuries, standing in that liminal world where time folds over itself. Her voice calling out, her hands glowing faintly as if the stones themselves are alive through her. She may have become something beyond human, a traveler not of one time, but of all times. If that's true, then Julia isn't just the key to understanding time travel, she is time travel. Her blood, her sacrifice, her love for Henry, it's the thread holding the entire Outlander universe together. Meanwhile, back in the 18th century, the world burns. Brian and Ellen's story reaches a breaking point as rebellion and prophecy collide. Jocasta's loyalty is tested when she's forced to choose between her clan and the unborn child she swore to protect. The Mackenzie family begins to fracture, with Colum discovering that Jocasta's allegiance may not lie where he thought. Her choice could spark a betrayal that echoes for generations, creating ripples that reach Claire and Jamie centuries later. Because the war for freedom might have begun on the battlefield, but the war for time begins in the heart. The emotional weight of Season 2 will come from one impossible truth: to restore balance, someone must be erased. The stones demand sacrifice. And this time, it may not be just one person, it could be an entire memory, an entire branch of history. Julia might realize that her very existence is the flaw in the timeline. That by surviving, she's unraveling everything her ancestors built. The choice before her will be the most devastating of all: to vanish from history so her bloodline can live. Imagine that moment, Julia standing in the liminal realm, the stones pulsing around her, Henry's voice calling out from another time. She understands now that love isn't just a feeling, it's a force. One that can hold the past and future together, even as she fades away. Her sacrifice restores the balance, sealing the breach she and Henry created. But even as she disappears, her essence remains, woven into every heartbeat of her descendants. And that's where the final twist comes in. Claire, centuries later, finds something, a letter, ancient and worn, signed by someone named Julia. Inside, a warning: if you feel the wind whisper your name, don't be afraid. It's only me. Watching. Waiting. Guiding you home. That moment would connect everything. The bloodline, the stones, the echoes, all revealed to be part of one infinite loop of love and sacrifice. Because Blood of My Blood was never just about time travel. It's about legacy. It's about how love endures even when memory fades, how blood carries stories that refuse to die, and how destiny can't be escaped, it can only be understood. Season 2 is shaping up to be the most haunting, emotional, and mind-bending chapter yet. Every theory, every secret, every life intertwined through centuries is ready to collide in one breathtaking reckoning. Because this time, the question isn't who will survive time, it's who time will remember. The stones are humming again. The bloodline is awake. And the past is no longer behind us, it's coming for us.